Let's get this show on the road. It's me, Tahir, Ashraf, with...
Inayat.
Yes, because between the two of us, we can. Why? Because Ash, for Ashraf.
Kan, for Kanji.
AshKan. Welcome to the AshKan Show.
That was quite well done, bro. That was nice improv there. I like that.
Thank you. I'm all about improv. You know how it is. I'm also about preparation and getting things done on time.
Not turning up at 3 o'clock when you say 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that sort of thing is not me, but hang on a second. Strictly speaking, the joke is on you because you said I'll be here at 1 and...
Well, I like to keep people on their toes, just like the electoral election. Electoral election? Is it electoral election? Is that just a...
Well, that's just... I'm going to let that slide.
The point being is, are you surprised by the result?
I'm grateful.
That's a long way of putting it, isn't it?
I'm
grateful.
glad. No, it is a surprise
Yeah.
in many ways because if you look at the way in which this whole thing has come about, I looked at The Guardian, I also looked at BBC, and the way in which they were reporting, it was a bit strange because on the one hand, for 2 days, the BBC were reporting that Joe Biden had 253, whereas when I had looked at The Guardian's information, that showed that Joe Biden had 264 electoral college votes. Now,
I was wondering what the number was referencing. Like
so
cars, houses,
exactly.
Chuddy, I don't know.
Well, for those of our listeners who don't, and viewers for that matter, who don't understand what chuddies means, it literally means underwear.
You're dripping it! Sorry.
And that means fashion, apparently. Yeah.
But sorry, tangents.
Quite. Well, it wouldn't be a show without a can tangent.
Indeed, and Freudian slip there, I think, because like Trump's quite a tangerine.
Drum roll. I love it. I love it.
Sorry, okay. So you're pleasantly surprised.
I mean, I wouldn't have. I mean, the thing is, you call it a tangerine, but you should have seen what I saw last summer, or was that meant to be Sat Summer? That's what you call a tangent. All right, I withdraw that. That was a very poor joke. I'm going to withdraw that. I'll just withdraw that.
If only we could withdraw Trump in it, but it happened.
Well, yes.
We had years of his rule, and again, I'm a layman, bro. Like, literally a lame man to some.
Well, I wouldn't say you're a lame man in this particular context at the moment. You might be in other instances.
Oi.
Thanks for
PC.
Thanks for stealing my joke.
PG. PC. The point is, it's probably not politically correct either. But the point is, more so, I felt like the last 5 years.
Four,
sorry. It feels like five. Feels like
an eternity.
Yeah, probably. Don't you think it's quite telling of like the state of the world's psychology?
It's not about the state of the world psychology. It's more about the state of American politics over the last couple of decades, because there has been this desire to create a divide between human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you successfully create the fear of the other.
Like divide and conquer.
Absolutely right. It was done with the likes of Iraq, Afghanistan and Iraq.
Mm.
And what do we know? We now know, post-fact, that...
it was all cap, as my nephew would say.
What?
Lies!
Quite.
Lies, I tell you! Yeah.
Yes, and of course, there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq other than those that were used to bomb the place out. Those were the real weapons of mass destruction.
Is that called irony?
Is that called what?
Irony.
Something like that.
Okay. I'm learning. Sorry.
Right. But the point is that the other has been created, as indeed has the fear of the other. So when the fear of the other has been created, well, the fear stokes and it sells. No one's interested in...
Happy clappy clouds
Exactly.
and unicorns,
Quite.
other than 4-year-old girls.
Well, there might be others as well, but that's the issue, isn't it?
Secrets, bro. I showed you that in private, man. Like, that was my teddy bear from my childhood, man.
And now you've just revealed that to the rest of them that you've told me these secrets. Who is this guy? This is a solo show.
I just gate crashed in it, man, for the free biryani.
He means gate. 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 Gate crashed. For those keeping it... For those of you who might be thinking he gay crashed.
Oi!
No.
Hey!
It wasn't any of that.
But, in this day and age, anyway, we've got to keep it gender fluid, man. There's no homophobia here, bro, man. I'm very comfortable with my masculinity. Do you get
All I'm saying is you need to pronounce your words properly and clearly.
Apologies. Will you give me elocution lessons?
Don't ask me like that.
How did I ask you?
Give me elocution.
Bro, how did this get all weird, man? We're talking about Trump. See, this is what he does to us, though. This is what I'm saying.
This is what he does to you.
Well, either way, he does it to certain people, innit? Like, gets in your head, and it creates that anarchy, that fear of, I don't know. I feel like just, people say, he shoots from the hip,
I don't think that shooting from the hip is an accolade
Can
that
you
needs to
actually
be
shoot from the hip?
associated.
But that's by the by.
I mean, I don't think that's an accolade that is fit to be sort of associated with Donald Trump.
What should we say then? Because shoot from the hip just means straight talking, innit?
Shooting from the hip means someone who's, look at it from the legal context, for example. I've been in courtrooms and in cases where you might say such a judge shoots from the hip.
Right.
Because he or she is preempting your argument and he tells you what your argument is.
Yeah.
Tells you the flaws in your argument.
Yeah.
And then moves on to the other side and says, well, this is what, presumably you're about to tell me this and you're about to say this and so on and so on. But, that is associated with someone who's bright and sharp.
Okay, right.
Just because Trump himself says he's bright,
Yeah.
or he's the most
He's
intelligent
orange. He's
man,
orange.
he's the most sane, well, yeah, I mean, that's...
Sorry.
Yeah, but you realise
But
the
yeah.
irony in that,
Yeah.
because, do you remember the network called Orange?
Yes, I
Do
do.
you remember some of their adverts?
Yes, I do.
They warned you that the future is orange.
The future is bright, the future is orange.
Was that their way of telling us
Oh, mate.
that there was going to be Trump rule? And I'll tell you what the bizarrest thing is.
Go on.
Around 4 or 5 years ago,
Mm.
which is when Trump started to rise
Yes.
in popularity,
Yes.
the Orange Network
Kabisa. Done, innit?
went.
Boss
I
out.
mean, it went and merged with
Go on.
T-Mobile and so on, didn't it?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, they warned you and just quietly left.
Well, it's often the best way to do it. It's like, mic drop.
Boom. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would do it, but these mics are expensive.
Yeah, please don't drop these mics. Please don't drop these mics.
Is that song? Bringing in song.
Please don't drop these mics.
Mic.
Please don't drop these. Please don't drop these. Please don't drop these mics.
Mic.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you might, or are you just saying mic? Are you saying mic as in microphone, or are you calling some guy called Mike?
Well, considering we're just doing...
Or were you literally saying might? That you might drop the mic? Do I need to be worried?
Nah, I don't think so.
About which part? A guy called Mike?
I'm just very
Or
confused.
you dropping
now.
this mic?
I'm just very confused right now. As in, I don't know a bloke called Mike, except for my cleaner.
Well, you do, but there we are. That's a different point.
He's Chinese though.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Technically, it's an adopted name, isn't it?
Well,
Because I
that's...
can't pronounce the Mandarin one.
Which is what?
I don't know. I would say something really racist if I tried. So.
Why does it have to be really racist if you try? Surely it means you're trying, and you're being completely opposite of Trump, who just says, Chinese virus. It's a Chinese virus.
I actually saw something that was really deep about Chinese people get discriminated because of that, because of things like Trump. This is what I'm saying. He gets in our heads, man, and whether it's Mike, whatever. The point being is, yeah, Trump has confused me, bro. That's what it is.
Well, your confusion, insofar as the
Because it
voting
seems people
system,
like him. A lot of people like him.
you know what? At least 70-odd million people voted for this guy
That's scary.
in the United States of America.
I don't know how many people there are in the United States of America, but
Well,
Seems like a large amount of people.
looking at the
Considering, people get excited about 5,000 followers on Instagram, do you know what I mean? 70,000 people voting for you, you could get a bit of a dickhead.
well, I mean, the reality of it is, I think you're mistaken on the basis that people don't just get excited about around 5,000 followers on Instagram. People become ecstatic.
That's true. Actually,
Excited is one thing. Ecstatic is, that's just some next level.
So I suppose, people affirming to him that you can be the leader, That's why he's got all this, I'm a man, all that kind of, I'm invincible, COVID can't get to me, this can't get to me,
So I'm looking at The Guardian. 70,806,515 votes
Yeah.
were cast and successfully counted, valid votes in favour of Trump. And
So definitely wasn't Trump counting them because he can't count.
Well,
Yeah.
there we are.
Which is ironic considering he's got so much money. But anyway,
Well, we don't know if he can or he can't count, so, let's
sure he
not...
employs somebody, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure he would, but yeah. And then
Yeah.
Biden got 75,205,552.
Whoa. So I was saying 70,000, or was I 70 million?
70 million.
Okay, obviously that would make no sense if I said 70,000, would it? Because,
That's just tiny.
Yeah.
It's like a drop in the ocean.
a village.
Quite.
Yeah, okay.
It depends on which village. I mean, you're not talking Sodom and Gomorrah now, are you? Drop in the ocean.
Sodom and
Village. No mind.
You just told me to sod off.
Sod it.
Sodom.
Just sod it.
Sodom. But yeah, and Gomorrah just sound like Gumrah. But anyway, the point.
Well, yeah, you're being gumrah, but led astray. You're leading me astray in
Quite
this
lost my
conversation.
mind, yeah.
All right, let's get back to Trump.
Back to Trump.
Right, and back to Biden.
Yeah.
Right,
Which
so
I know nothing about other than that he's old.
you know why? Do you have any idea why Donald Trump on the January the 20th is now going to be not allowed to go into the White House?
No.
Because it's for Biden. Forbidden. Biden.
Man. I don't know if you find it as funny as I do, but yeah, the point is, play on words are fun. So he's for Biden to go into the White House. Maybe it's because he's orange. That's why people only in it.
Well, he was never about.
And he's quite racist, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of reverse medicine, isn't it?
Yeah, so you asked me earlier, so yeah, I am glad, and the reality of it is, just because Biden is now coming in, does not mean to say that the racism that was, or continues to be rife, as a direct consequence of Donald Trump and his policies, and calling people who were from the KKK good people.
I think the problem was somebody gave him a microphone in the first place, giving him a platform even to speak just seems mad, doesn't it, when you hear some things that come out of his mouth.
All right, I'm going to say something that's going to be possibly controversial.
Are there?
You know, when you have the peaks and troughs in stock markets and housing prices and this and that and the other, do you think...
Them things are peaking it.
Do you think, and I know I appreciate it might hurt your head when you're thinking, but just hold your horses with me.
That's why I wear multiple hats and bandanas.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
get lost in it.
hang in there for me. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, go on.
Mate, you were cussing me earlier, right? So this is just
clean.
my...
Keep it clean. Yeah, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you not think that this is a bit of a correction? In other words, do you think that Trump and Trumpism had to come through for so many people in the history of the United States to actually physically get out and vote? Because other times and otherwise, do we really care that much about politics?
I see where you're going.
Or is it a case of I've
never voted before.
do we not
I
have?
don't care.
Yeah, do we not always have that mentality? Nothing's going to change. I don't care. They're all the same.
Yeah, I genuinely I joke, but man's never voted. I think I've been down once or twice and kind of just. I think I did once when I was 18, but it's because I was doing.
Because your dad said.
Yeah, I was doing A level.
Vote Labour, beta.
Literally.
Dikra Labour ne vote
I
aapke.
swear it was, it was something about called local policies. It was listen, just vote tactically, innit? If you're not going to do anything, just vote tactically at least, innit? So I think I vote Green Party.
For those of you who are only accessing this podcast via audio, right now know that I'm literally smacking my forehead like this.
Do a bit harder so they can hear it.
Can I just clap instead? Because otherwise it'll hurt. I got big hands, unlike Trump. These hands are beautiful. I've got big hands. I don't have small hands. You can ask my wife, Melania. She knows I've got big hands.
This guy. So basically,
I'm just trying to do my best impression of the good people of the United States
it's not bad actually.
of
It's
America.
Pretty decent. Like, do you think your mouth would like stay like that though if you kept talking like that?
I'm sure that's what our elders told us. If you did that, it would. But the worst thing would be that, you know what, we actually won this election. We really did. No. The worst thing would be if my voice changed like that. That would be truly the worst thing. I'm going to have to raise this mic up because it's ruining my posture.
I think we're going Canadian now. I'm like, yeah, the point.
What are you talking about?
I don't understand that boot business, but yeah.
I'm just saying boot, like, you know, my boot, my shoes, my boot.
I see.
Listen, I'm gonna go Canada one day again. Don't be dissing the Canadians. I've got a lot of time for Canada.
I've never been. So
You've never been to Canada?
Yeah, this is a really, really like deprived thing, isn't it? Like, how have I not been to Canada? Is Canada a place? Isn't it Canada?
Yeah. Are you talking about Canada, where they have the maple leaf and they have Justin Trudeau as the president of the United States of Canada?
Yeah, the place where Justin Bieber comes from. Yeah.
I just said that, Justin Trudeau.
I thought that's what you said.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, back to Trump. As I say, yeah. Actually, I don't remember what I said. Actually, what did we say?
Well, you said, "Am I surprised?" I'm not surprised.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. But my question really is it a correction? Did we have to have...
To motivate
Trump
those who are marginalised, almost to...
Well, it's less about those who are marginalised. It's more about people who are on the left, for example, or socialist-leaning people, or centre-left, as it were.
Yeah.
People who are thinking, you know what, there should be more fairness across society, as it were, as opposed to the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Do you think that there needed to be this level of correction? In other words, do you think that there needed to be this level of Trump anarchy for people to support people like Joe Biden?
So it's almost like through chaos comes order, that kind of thing.
You know, if you think about the First and the Second World War, let's talk about the Second World War.
Yeah.
Right? After the Second World War came the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which British lawyers helped to draft.
Yeah.
Right? And so as a result of that, many countries in Europe and across the world, they signed a declaration saying, you know what, we're going to give refugees protection, and so on and so forth, in the 1951 Convention, etc., etc., etc. Everyone has the right to life, right to family, business, education, etc. After that, after the Second World War, genocide of the Jewish people, in which I should also add, and I hasten to add, many people from what was then known as just India or Hindustan, as it were, participated. So many of our forefathers participated in the First and the Second World Wars. People from Punjab, people from, you know, various, all over the place.
That's why they do the Indian things on the Remembrance Day. I see, like...
Tons of people from India participated. Tons of Muslims as well. And tons of Sikh people, tons of Hindus. And they fought, they were brothers in arms together.
Okay.
Right? Against Hitler. But part of their conditions, what was said between the politicians of the day was, dear people of India, as it were, we will give you freedom and liberation from us as an occupying force, Britain, and at the same time we'll give you partition.
Okay.
Which meant that obviously Muslims got or many Muslims rather, got known as a separate homeland, i.e. Pakistan. That's how the birth of Pakistan came about. So the point being that many of those people participated in the Second World War
Yeah.
as a direct consequence of which people, certainly me and my family, have found ourselves here in the United Kingdom
Right.
because people who were serving,
Yeah.
them and their families could come to the UK
Okay.
on a permanent basis,
Okay.
right? But the point is,
I was gonna say because this is really like long.
I'm coming to it. So
My attention is very short.
I gathered. So
Yeah.
So after that Second World War chaos,
Yeah.
then came the period of stability and unity. Do you think that we had to have the Trump era to now hope for some level of unity? Or is it too soon? That's two questions.
I see what you mean. So it's kind of like,
Squeak up, bro.
it's kind of like me telling my missus, yo, I could deal with them now. I'll cook dinner, then I cook dinner and I mess everything up and I poison everyone. And so then thereon, she cooks and then I really appreciate her cooking from there on because I created such a madness.
And you meant to do that so that she would never ever ask you to cook again.
Because secretly, I'm an amazing chef. Because you know all men are. Sorry, that was really bad.
Well, I'm blatantly an amazing chef.
I didn't have to state the men bit though, did I? But yeah, but it's kind of true. Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay. But yeah, the point is, yeah.
Everyone's favourite ingredient.
And yeah, Delia Smith in it.
Did I get that right about Jamie? Everyone's favourite ingredient.
Although I don't like what he's done to school dinners, man.
What has he done to school dinners?
It's made them whack, innit?
What?
They're healthy in that, innit?
And
Don't taste nice, innit?
put some salt and pepper on it.
That sounds like the most gourmet meal I've ever had. What spice you got? Salt and pepper, bro.
They don't taste
What?
nice. Add some seasoning. Add some spices to it. Do you know what I mean?
Coconut,
You should have told.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm a coconut. I'm not calling anyone a coconut. All I'm saying is, if you let
I'm surprised you
Jamie
never
Oliver
asked
loose-
me, like, how do you even know about school dinners? Because you're 37, bro.
What does that have to do with the price of fish? I wasn't going to reveal your age on camera. You know what they say: never reveal a lady's age. Oh wait, no, that's not relevant here.
And the fact that a 37-year-old man is having school dinners there.
Why are you still having school dinners?
That's what I'm saying, like.
You're having school dinners?
Well, it's just, they're really nice, innit? And so, like, when I used to teach...
How in the world are you having school dinners?
So when I used to teach in school...
Which was how long ago?
Before they found out I was a rubbish teacher. I used to... You know what I mean?
Which
I'll be the
was
first
what
in the
year?
queue for them school dinners, man.
Say again?
I'll be the first in the queue for the school dinners, you know? I eat with the kids, innit?
Right, so are you saying you still do?
Well, not anymore, I just...
So you used to?
Well, no,
So
but-
what you're saying is, I'll eat in.
But then I
When
get-
you're saying it that way,
Yeah.
what you're saying is, I'll eat with the hand gestures as well.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
you're still doing it, and you're looking forward to doing it.
Yeah.
As in eating
Yeah.
with the school kids.
Yeah. Well, but you don't understand why, though.
All I'm going to say is,
I think this...
you might get put on some kind of register.
I was going to say, this needs heavily some editing work.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This is a one-take show, I'm afraid. This is a one-take show.
I want to qualify that I don't go into schools anymore and, like, you know...
So you
queue
used
up
to?
for, like, school dinners. No, I never used to. I was a teacher in the school, innit? I was
Right.
just saying, innit, that Jamie Oliver screwed up school dinners.
You just
One day I went to
completed...
school and the school dinners weren't school dinners anymore.
So
Something
within
else.
10 seconds, my friend,
Yeah.
in 10 seconds you use the word in it twice within the space of probably 4 words.
Yeah.
That explains why you were found out as a shit teacher.
My name's Inayat, innit?
What does that have to do with the price of fish? In it.
What does fish have to do with Inayat?
In it.
Biden?
You're for Biden from going into the schools.
That definitely is a register, isn't it?
Why saying, man? Can you imagine me going to court and saying, "Why saying, Your Honour, man? It wasn't him and that, innit? She just making up all them lies and that. What you saying? She got no proof on that, man.
Yeah,
She can't prove Jack. He was bare drip himself because he was loaded with them silver spoon in his hand." Born. Judge is going to be like, Mr. Ashraf, have you lost your marbles today? Marbles? What are you saying, Judge, man? I didn't have no marble cake. Someone's feeding you some bad bit of intel and that. Judge, you're not in with the road. Judge, you ain't in with the road. What are you saying? It was angel cake. Not marble cake. I haven't lost my marbles.
I feel like you know this character too well, man. Like it's like a secret fantasy of yours to walk into court now, like, and do this.
I couldn't possibly. I'd get hauled over some coals and some, all sorts of regulatory boards and what have you.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's what we should do to Trump, to be honest, because it's like, as you've just explained, I feel like I've understood this now. Like, he's duped us, man. He may be really secretly intelligent, and he's playing a character like that character you were playing court, and he's just making us think he's dumb, innit? Maybe he was part of the whole setup, innit? Maybe they're in it together. Because sometimes like...
Who's they?
Just powers that be, innit? Like, that's why I don't vote, because I always think like Labour, Conservative, they all do the same stuff. They just mess us up. Why does nobody ever like do the right thing?
So why did you think about standing up in politics in your own
you
local
just told
area
me
and
not
make
to
a change?
go to school, like, do you know what I mean? Like, why do you want me to stand for, like, do you think anybody would want me to represent them? Like,
Look, if you think...
They kicked me out as a teacher, bro, like... You vote for me?
Kick you out, come on.
Okay, they didn't kick me out.
But they just said, you can leave.
Yeah.
Don't bother coming back.
Same but different, innit? But, like, you know what I mean? I was hurt, man.
Do you remember watching Will Smith growing up?
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Well, you said grown up still do, but yeah. Reruns, innit? Reruns! They killed it on Trouble, it just moved over to another channel, innit?
All I'm saying is, right, that, when jazz often gets booted out,
Yeah.
did they do something like that with you, with the school?
Kind of. I mean, the headmistress was kind of looking like that James Avery guy, the big, like the dad character.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul. And hers, because she's bald and big. But
she's bald and big? Your head teacher was bald and big?
She's a big lady, man.
Which school did you go to?
Gunshot high!
Same one as Matilda.
Felt like that again, like genuinely. Like.
Yeah, we know you wanted Miss Honey.
But I'm Taken Man now, innit?
And I can keep a straight face saying that.
Just like the film, innit? Taken.
As in Taken the film, or what? Or film in Matilda? Because no one in Matilda is taken per se.
Well, technically they are, innit? Because they're putting that cupboard, that boy in there. Like, is it when he eats the
What
cake?
are you talking about?
Someone gets locked in a cupboard, don't they, by like their teacher?
Yeah.
Is it because they eat all the cake?
Something, do you know what? I can't remember now.
Well, you start talking about cake, innit?
It has been that long since I've eaten.
There was a chocolate cake, there wasn't marble wine.
Let's not talk about what the modern version of cake is in this era.
What should we talk about
Let's just wrap up on Trump.
then? Okay, yeah.
Because we got 2 mins, bro.
Okay.
Less than.
So what I've understood then from this, is it Gupshot?
Gupshot. Chit-chat.
Chit-chat. Talk to the mic. Is that basically it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You've heard that? Swings and roundabouts.
I have indeed heard it several times, and the more often, and the longer I continue in this discussion and this debate with you, it seems that that's exactly where we are going to end up.
Is it the right context that I used
Mate, if ever there was a case for losing the plot...
what I just mean by that is...
I was going to say Donald Trump is the one who has lost the plot because he is seeming to pursue legal challenges where they are unarguable.
That's because you're dumb, innit? Man's orange with a toupee, bro, and he's like 80 something. I don't know.
Mate, that's not a toupee, it's a comb over.
Ah.
Yeah. Can't you see I've tried to do the same? Don't touch the hair.
I wanted to flip it to see, innit? Like, so.
I'll flip you in a minute.
So, alright, the main point of
Like
this
James
then...
Avery.
The main point of
The
this
main
then
point is
that Trump was a necessity for us to recognise the state of play and that we need some kind of like control again.
I asked you that as a question you failed to answer. That's what I'm saying.
Isn't it like just try your hardest that matters?
I think that's all we've pretty much got time for, but it might be the case that you agree with this, that, yeah, it was a correction needed or it wasn't. I don't know. But one thing is for sure. We do hope that the world can look forward to a Biden presidency with some hope and unity. And I should also add, with hopefully a better deal for Brexit. No, wait, better deal for Britain post-Brexit. All that malarkey.
Oh, mate, this is so confusing, isn't it? Don't get me started on Brexit.
There we are. Right, let's wrap this up. You have been listening to Tahir, Ashraf, and this guy.
Apparently, Inayat.
The AshKan Show! Or is it Talk to the Mic?
I know, we'll figure that one out, innit? Once we've edited like half of this out.
Dude, this is going out as is. I am not editing anything. You know what? There's no editing. Forget about that. You know what I mean? So, that's that. Over and out. Until next time.